Hello, mate. Chelsea signed Morgan Rogers in a deal worth 170 million pounds. That is a man. That's crazy. Nobody saw this coming. Everybody thought he was going to Arsenal. Arsenal were willing to start with 100 to 90 to 100 million pounds as a opening bid, and Chelsea just came in, no negotiation. They just did it everything on the day, and they signed Morgan Rogers. Is he worth the 100 million pounds? No, I don't think he's worth on the 100 million pounds. Just like uh Declan Rice, just like Anderson as well. I don't think they worth 100 million pounds. But I think I can understand if the English media or if the English clubs are trying to overbloat the transfer fee of their players. It's just kind of giving them an edge in the world football. Yes, he's another Manchester City Football Club graduate. For the past 4 or 5 seasons, Chelsea have been getting at least one Manchester City Football graduate, and he is just adding to the uh the group we have. The Cole Palmer, the Delab, the Gatins. You know what to say? If you can't beat them, you join them. If you can't join them, you get players from them, and probably that's what Chelsea is doing. For the past how many seasons we've not won Manchester City. Yeah, I think since we won them at the Champions League, we've not won them. One of the things I like, but yeah, at times it shows you that he's a quality player. At times it shows you he's a good player, and all in all, he doesn't get injured like that. He's always available throughout the season, almost every matches. And you can't, as a Chelsea fan, we don't really value the influence of Casido and Enzo because this guy hardly get injured, and they've been there for the past 2 3 years together. They've been playing almost all our matches, and just imagine the kind of injury that Lavia has, either Casido or Enzo having that kind of injury. See how he's going to disrupt that middle. But I like him because he's always there, and he's also bringing the cold Palmer celebration to Stamford Bridge. Stamford Bridge is going to get colder. I love him because that I think that left wing is sorted for years to come. We've paid 100 million pounds for Gittins and Ganacho last season, which we are regretting. So if we're paying 170 million pounds for him, I think, man, yeah, I think we just have to get that wing sorted once and for all, and I believe it's sorted. Now that you've sorted the wing, then you can go for maybe a 17-year-old or 16-year-old, the tetracyclines of this world, the Kabushka Bash of this world. I don't care about the names. Then you can get them at 17 and let them understudy the first choice players. So my fears about him is that it might lead to probably an healthy or unhealthy relationship with Cole Palmer. It's highly unlikely, but with the signature of the Cole celebration, it might be a kind of a power tussle with Cole Palmer. But I think Cole Palmer is a guy who doesn't really care about that, that could even spur them to another level, which will favor Chelsea. And also, what thing I don't like about him is that you know he's not like Rice that will give you that 9/10 performance every game, every season. There are times when I watch Aston Villa games, he's kind of you don't know he's there. Just like yesterday's game against France, you don't know he's on the pitch. And at times you watch him on that wings, he becomes so menace, and he could score from any angle. And also one thing I like about him is that he can place across the front three, which is a kind of a plus when you need to move players around, when you need to create this kind of Trojan horse for the opposition team. Is he a Premier League proven player? Yep, I would say that. I would say that because the past two, is it past 2 seasons or something? I think he's been kind of prolific. He's been kind of decent, and Chelsea they've lacked kind of quality that he possesses for a long time, especially on the wings, especially after we've lost Eden Hazard. Yeah, Chelsea can compete, and it also shows that we are competing already, despite missing out of the prestigious Champions League or the Europa Champions League. We arrested Xabi Alonso from Liverpool, which is a kind of a good sign, despite we not qualifying for Europe. And we also arrested Morgan from the hands of Arsenal. So that is, to me, that means we can compete. That bring out 170 million pounds on a single player. That shows we are ready to compete. That shows the intent. And I believe we should get back to Europe this season. My fear is also that the last time we wrestled Arsenal for a player, it was Mikhailo Modric. We arrested him, paid 80 million, and see how the whole thing turned. And has not turned into Trossard, and Trossard has been decent for them. So I don't trust that it might just be might come back to bite us. I don't like that. I don't like that feeling. Is the left wing sorted? Yeah, the left wing is sorted for next for 5 6 years. Is sorted. It's gonna be an exciting season for Chelsea. The cool celebration of Kupama, the cool celebration of Morgan Rogers. Let's see whether Morgan Rogers is going to change his signature celebration, but I don't think so. I don't think so. It's fun when two people do that. Probably it's going to increase to three, probably it's going to increase to four. Probably that's what all the Chelsea fans are going to be doing in the stadium instead of the Norwegian, what do they call it? Rue. you know, so exciting times ahead. Winter is coming. It's gonna get cold and cold and cold at Stamford Bridge. That's it, guys. Soccer Sharafino.